Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, today's video is about my new wild Mustang, a gray gelding from Devil's Garden. Where to begin, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna start back at the corrals in California. A couple months ago, I participated in an internet adoption through the US Forest Service. These events are hosted on the Zoom online platform. It's a live event, but not an auction. All the horses are $125. When a horse is announced, the first 3 people to type claim into the chat box are entered into a hat. From there, the winner is drawn. So I won this gray about a couple months ago, and now he's making his way to me here in Vermont. Now the gray was the second Devil's Garden horse that I won. The first one was Sparrow, who is already here. After receiving Sparrow, I was able to request some photos of the gray. The corrals have some wonderful volunteers who will actually take requests and look for your horse to take pictures to send to you. It was such a wonderful service and truly appreciated. The gray was on the second of 2 loads of Mustangs that were delivered to the Vermont pickup site at the Rising Action Mustang Society. They had quite the drop-off experience, arriving in the middle of a storm. I am so appreciative of this pickup site. It's been amazing to be able to pick up my horses right here in Vermont. This was the first morning after the Mustangs arrived in Vermont. They weren't so sure about coming forward to get the hay. My gray slowly started to come forward. He was a little hesitant, and then he was the first one to be brave enough to grab a bite of the bale. I think that was a pretty good sign. He was one of the Mustangs that didn't have any notes on his personality. Many of the Mustangs come with notes such as calm, nervous, biter, or stubborn. No notes isn't a bad thing, it just means there wasn't anything that stood out to the corral about him. It's kind of fun because I get to be the one to explore and discover his personality. Now, I lost my pickup footage when my hard drive broke, so we're gonna skip ahead and go to him being at my house. Here he is on the day he arrived. I got that first touch right away. He is going to be a very different experience than with Sparrow. You may have noticed that I was able to take his tag off right away. Just kidding, he took his own tag off. But no doubt I would have gotten it off pretty quickly. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to store my neck tags, but for right now they're just going to hang here. So, tag number 6458 now does have a new name. I couldn't find the comment, but one of you told me about King Arthur and Merlin, suggesting Arthur as the name. Arthur was actually the name of one of the horses that I learned to ride on, so I have really fond memories of that. But I actually really liked the name Merlin. When I told Nathan, he told me that the Merlin is actually a gray species of falcon. That made me like the name even more because I realized I did a patriotic theme for Libby and Frida, and it would only be appropriate to do a bird theme for Sparrow and this guy. I made sure you guys didn't hate the name, and then once he arrived I also tried it out for a little while, and it seemed to fit. So meet DG Merlin, or Merlin. My first impressions of Merlin are really good. I think he's going to be a really sweet horse, and when I'm not calling him Merlin, I refer to him as Good Sir, because he does seem like such a gentleman.
Are you guys friends?
So right now I'm keeping them separate because of their genders. I actually added a second wing onto my round pen so it's easier to separate. So far that's worked really well for me. Now Merlin is my 4th wild Mustang to begin the gentling process. I would say the hardest part for me is everything up to getting the halter on. And that's really because I don't have an established process I use. So because of that, I'm going to be starting Merlin with some positive reinforcement and then switching over to the typical pressure release sort of training, which I'm actually more comfortable in. Okay, let's get on with the training. A quick warning before we get started. I'm going to be making a lot of mistakes in this video. I'm quite new to positive reinforcement, and this is honestly really embarrassing. I'm going to try my best to point out some of the bigger errors, but that can be hard to do without making this video too long. Just know that I'm not a shining example unless it's of what not to do. After he was eating out of my hand, I introduced the bridge sound. And again, this sound I'm going to use in the future to mark a correct behavior, and it's going to signify that the horse did the right thing and a reward is coming. Right now, I'm just trying to get him to associate the sound with food. So three big mistakes I'm making. First of all, I should be behind the fence in protected contact, not only for my own safety, but also to help set him up for the most success. I don't want him reaching into my space like that. The fence helps prevent that from happening until the horse learns how to put its body into the correct position. The second thing is I should be extending my arm as far away from my body as I can, rather than encouraging him to come into my space. The third major mistake you will see in a moment. Oh my gosh, I am literally teaching this horse to be in my space. Oh, so bad. Okay, so I basically just taught him to be in my space, and that deet means food. Alright, so I'm now attempting to teach Merlin how to target. Okay, so the third major thing that I am failing to do is deliver the food speedily. There is too much time from when I say the bridge sound to when I deliver the food, and that gives him time to push more into my space. Okay, just a quick recap. This is very, very bad. I should be behind the fence in protected contact. I should be fully extending my arm away from my body, and I should be speedily delivering the food so he's not coming into my space. You'll see me correcting these mistakes as the video goes on. Man, I am in such a mood as I'm watching all this stuff. I'm just like, I'm beyond horrified, and truth be told, I really would rather just not include it in this video and just pretend it never happened, but part of this channel is showing you guys these processes and talking about what I'm doing wrong. So this makes me very uncomfortable, and I just want to like rip myself apart. I've only mentioned a few things, like the major things that I've seen wrong, but oh my gosh, guys. Can we pretend this did not happen? Okay, my horrible training aside, I do really like how curious Merlin is. He seems like a really sweet and good-natured horse and very engaged. Here's where we started making some steps in the correct direction. We started with the easy posture. Here I'm rewarding him when he is in a nice straight line and not coming in towards me. I've also added the extension on my arm. I recently purchased a couple of positive reinforcement books from Mustang Camp, and I'm starting to integrate some of the things that I'm learning from that. I'm not planning on strictly following the program throughout, but I haven't decided exactly where the cutoff will be. I definitely know more about pressure and release training and feel more comfortable in that, but at the same time, I don't want to rush this process. Once the gray was starting to search out that position for food, I added a countdown.
3, 2, 1, D. 3, 2, 1, D.
At this point, I'm learning and experimenting with different ways to keep him out of my space. It's a lot to think about, so I'm not doing everything correctly still, but I'm making improvements. I moved on to teaching him how to target different body parts, including his jaw and then his ears.
Have your ear?
This is Merlin's first time doing this. Once he realized what I was asking, he nailed it. All right, so I'm gonna work with Merlin. He sees my bag of alfalfa somewhere here. Anyway, today we're gonna work on some more targeting and maybe practice getting his nose into the halter. So yeah, you ready to get started, boy? You ready? All right. We began our session by reviewing targeting, first with his nose,
Have your jaw?
and then we moved to his jaw. I've also introduced his neck and shoulder to our targeting list.
You ready? Can I have your neck?
Merlin has been enthusiastically participating in this training, so I introduced the halter pretty quickly by teaching him to target it.
3, 2, 1, D. Can I have your jaw? 3, 2, 1, D. Can I have your jaw? 3, 2, 1, D.
After taking a little break, we moved on to the real deal, haltering.
Halter. Halter.
This time around, I added my countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D. Halter. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D. Easy.
Here I'm really making sure that he's not coming into my space. This is where things start to get a little sloppy, as I'm trying to get the halter a little further on and I'm using other target points to get a little closer. I'm really mixing it a little bit with him targeting and then me working the halter on a bit.
Can I have your, we have your ear? Oops. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D. Easy, easy.
Once the halter was on his face, I worked the ropes a little bit, not tying a knot, but just adding some movement there, and then I took the halter off.
Ready? Can I have your ear? Can I have your ear? Where's your ear? Oops. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D. Any other horse, I don't think this would work on, for obvious reasons. He's not very spooky.
Yeah, so Merlin is very, very different than Sparrow, and he is a lot more open to touch. He's still reserved, he's still a wild horse. I have to work to be able to earn his trust and essentially touch all over his body. It's still a lot of work, but oh my gosh, so different than Sparrow. So far I've been sliding the halter over his ears, and now I'm going to try a different way to put the halter on.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D.
This is a really bold approach to putting the halter on, and he handled it really, really well. From there, he just got better and better.
Halter. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D.
Since he was doing so well, I decided to try to put the halter on all the way.
4, 3, 2, 1, D.
I broke it into two parts. First by putting the halter on.
Easy. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D.
And then used a countdown to give me time to tie the knot.
Good boy.
And then I took the halter back off. Whenever I do something new like this, I try to repeat it as many times as I can.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D.
Even though my objective is to get the halter on, I want to keep repeating it and making sure the horse is comfortable with it. I suppose what that really means is that my objective is to get the horse comfortable with the halter, not so much just the end goal of getting the halter on.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D.
All right, so I got Merlin's halter on. Oops, this is not very good. There we go. So I basically did it by getting him to target and then learn how to hold the position. And so I was holding the target, or holding the halter. I taught him to put his nose into the halter, and I also taught him to target his ears and his forehead. And basically, while the halter was in my hand, I asked him to target his ear from the other side, and I was like slowly slipping the strap up and over his ears until I could basically get it on. Look at this guy. Wow. He hasn't done this before. He just comes up to me, lets me pet him just like this. Normally I have to work up to it. So yeah, the halter's on. I'm not gonna do leading just yet. I'm gonna work on just haltering practice. I'm still doing most of everything from protected contact, just because I think he has the propensity to get really pushy. I'm still working on, and I'm new to positive reinforcement. So a big part of positive reinforcement is making sure that you can set boundaries and be protected and really set up the environment for success. And I'm still learning those skills, so that's why I've been working behind protected contact. So I don't want him in a position where he is getting a little bit too pushy with me. Yeah, good boy. Oh, you like that?
Sure.